uncreated light.
The unborn.
Icky. Namaste World Raisers, Sabine and Roger here. Let's watch Kundalini Yoga and Advaita Vedanta with Swami Sarvapriyananda from the YouTube channel Vedanta Society of New York.
So we absolutely love Swami Sarvapriyananda. Is one of our first big hit videos on this channel. What did we watch? It was the
Who Am I?
The Who Am I. If you haven't watched that, you need to check it out. So he teaches, of course, from the Advaita Vedanta perspective, which is non-duality. So ultimate reality from that tradition. And this is a video without any superficial fluff. There's not going to be any jump cuts or graphics. He's not Mr. Beast. He's not trying to hook you and grab your attention. He is just delivering wisdom. So you got to focus your attention and listen and get into it. If you want to learn something, then join us. Hit that like button. Help the algorithm. Help reach more people. Help others to access the truth.
Is the experience of the awakening of the Kundalini and the experience at the Anahata, the heart center of the uncreated light.
The uncreated
What is the uncreated light?
The unborn.
So is it the same as aparoksha anubhuti? Yes and no. So in what sense yes, and in what sense no? In the sense that Kundalini, this is an entirely different approach. So Kundalini Yoga and the approach of Advaita Vedanta. Advaita Vedanta is the approach of vichara, investigation, inquiry into the self. So our experience of ourselves, by which I mean nothing more than what we all do, subject and object, waking, dreaming and deep sleep, or the layers of the physical, the personality which we have, an inquiry into that in order to arrive at the witness consciousness, which is not an object. And in Kundalini Yoga, what is done is a series of meditative practices, which are both yogic and tantric, which lead to the awakening of the mystical force called Kundalini, and which is then visualized as traveling up the Sushumna, the central nerve channel within the spine, up to the different centers, the 7 centers, psychic centers in the body, to the heart center, where the first spiritual experience takes place. Sri Ramakrishna says one is struck with a wondrous experience, and the spiritual seeker says, "What is this? What is this?" In Bengali, eki. So it's an extraordinary breakthrough when one for the first time appreciates what is meant by the spirit, by consciousness, not body, not even mind, not experiences like seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, none of that, not even like thinking, feeling, not even the most extraordinary intellectual understanding. Beyond all of that, I suddenly perceive at the core of my being is this immortal light. Why it's called uncreated light? This is created light. Even the sunlight, created light. It's part of the material world. And one is taken to a subtler level. There is a light which is the eyes and the ears and the senses are kind of light because they reveal certain things to us. Your eyes reveal forms to you. Ears reveal sound to you, and so on. So senses can be seen as a kind of light. Light here is within quotes now, not a physical light. Subtler than that, all the senses are known by the mind. So the mind is a higher kind of light. And the mind is itself known by what? Or revealed by what? That is the uncreated light. And that's at the core of our being. That's what we truly are. So that's realized there. The uncreated light, the anahata dhvani, the unstruck sound. And then there was that phrase he used after that. Uncreated light, unstruck sound, and then?
He has uncreated sound, and one recognizes his or her actual nature as the spirit.
Then one recognizes his or her actual nature as the spirit. This is the result of that experience. Spirit means consciousness. I am that light. So that is the sum total. The sum and substance of that experience is that I am not this body and mind. I am that light which I experience. Not as an object. It is experienced as the subject, as I am that. So it's not an objective experience. It is rather experienced as the very nature of the experiencer. Language fails here. So this is Kundalini Yoga. And in the path of Advaita Vedanta, where the term Aparokshanubhuti comes from, we know, we inquire into our experience of the self. We inquire into what we are. So the first answer is, am I the body? And then we see why we are not the body. These are not just arguments. They seem to be like philosophical arguments. The body is changing and I experience myself as unchanging. The body is an object. I experience myself as the subject. The body is insentient. I experience myself as sentient. Insentient means that I am aware of the body. Body is not aware of me. That's what it means. By all these so-called arguments, these are not just philosophical arguments. They are meant to convince us intellectually that I am not the body. But deeper than that, they are meant to show us. This is something that most people don't understand. Once you appreciate this, the true magic of the Advaita path becomes evident. It is not just convincing us intellectually. It's actually showing us, as a matter of fact, when I show you, here is a piece of cloth. Is it an argument? No, I'm giving you an experience. That I am not the body, I'm not the mind. It's actually an always available experience. Just the path of showing us is through a philosophical inquiry. Once we see that, then we automatically become aware of ourselves as the light or the consciousness which experiences all of this, body and mind. So this is the Aparokshanubhuti path. You will come to the same realization as this one. What is the difference? Two major differences, one methodological and one in the ultimate conclusion. The methodological difference is this. In the Kundalini Yoga path, you await certain mystical experiences. Very powerful, and they're genuine. But they are mystical experiences. Why am I saying mystical experiences? Mystical experiences which are extraordinary. They come and go. That uncreated light in the heart, is everybody seeing it all the time? No. It depends on a series of a practice which ultimately culminates in that kind of a mystical experience. Whereas in the path of inquiry, one inquires into what already is. One is not looking for a new kind of experience. So a kind of philosophical inquiry into what already is, and that it reveals itself as that consciousness which is there. One is the path of mystical experience, seeking a mystical experience. The other is the path of what might call a direct path of inquiring into what already is. That mystical experience comes and goes, but if it is successful, it will show you the same realization that I am this witness consciousness. So that's one big difference. It's called, it's a methodological difference in approach. The second big difference is in the ultimate realization. Aparokshanubhuti does not stop at realizing I am the witness consciousness. It just begins there. Then one is invited to inquire into what you have discovered, that I am the witness consciousness. Is this witness consciousness limited? By limited I mean, is it one here and another there and a third one there and one witness consciousness in each body and mind? Is that so? Or is it one witness consciousness in all bodies and minds? Is it limited, that it is here and not there? Is it limited in space? Is it limited in time? So, and one discovers it is not limited. That it is one existence consciousness bliss in which the entire universe, all beings, they appear and are experienced in that one consciousness. This unlimited consciousness is called Brahman. So the ultimate realization in this Aparokshanubhuti, the path of Jnana Yoga or Advaita Vedanta, is I am Brahman, the ground of this entire universe, the one reality of this entire universe. That is not so in the path of Kundalini Yoga.
Swamiji, Dhanyavad.
So takeaways? What'd you get?
No. This is Advaita Vedanta. And Kundalini I know even less about. So
yeah, I thought it was great. So, of course, many paths, all, and he stated it quite clearly, that we're all headed towards the same destination. And then there's going to be various levels of that realization. And the Kundalini path seems like he's pointing out that, this access of the heart chakra opening up. And you learn that on the journey and the path, that these are very profound insights. So the heart chakra, throat chakra, the third eye chakra, when these open up, they're very profound. They're incredibly beyond our normal experiencing, right? It's like a huge awakening beyond what we merely think of at the beginning of our spiritual journey. When you're bringing in spiritual teachings and you're learning a lot, you're having realizations, right? But for the most part, they're conceptual. So these realizations that he's talking about here are beyond conception. They're coming from source. They're direct experiencing of something beyond that are really, really profound, right? So when you think about near-death experiences, for example, and how these people who experience that on a higher level, they become one with the light. And then if their destiny is to come back, they're entirely transformed, and they're very, very different. So then they're resonating, their vibration, their frequency, their level of being is coming from a higher source because they've made a shift, right? So we're talking about awakening, shifting, transcending a level of consciousness. These are impactful. These are transformative experiences, right? So different ways to get there, right? So for me on my journey, I didn't go into the Kundalini awakening path, even though I'm very well aware of the chakras. And then during meditation, you focus on them. But Kundalini yoga has to be practiced and taught by a Kundalini expert, a teacher, somebody who has realized that, who has gone down that path and is able to teach it correctly. So you need to access those teachings and then practice accordingly with the guidelines and the teachings provided. I don't recommend trying that on your own, whereas the path of self-inquiry is different, right? So this is looking in, using your consciousness and awareness to go within and really investigate who you are. And there's many traditions that teach this as well. So we've studied Tibetan Buddhism quite a bit. The ancient masters within that tradition, they were always teaching about dissecting who you are down to its core, and then they were teaching emptiness. So anything that you perceive yourself to be, you got to investigate and inquire to it, and then you're always going to find out that I am not that, right? So he's speaking very clearly about your subjective awareness, the indwelling light of consciousness, which is the ground of your being. That's ultimate subjectivity. That's the core. That's irreducible. You can't go any further than that until you become that, right? So it's basically anything within our experience is an object, right? So anything that appears to the mind can't be you, because you are the radical subjective awareness, consciousness beyond all of that, right? So you got to remember that it's not that the eyes can see, it's that by which the eyes can see. So that's the light of consciousness. And of course, there's various degrees there, which he's saying that it's all light, right? It's all consciousness, it's awareness. And then you get higher and higher, and then you think that, okay, so it's not that the mind can think, it's that by which the mind can think. It's the power, it's the energy, it's consciousness itself, right? So you go deeper and deeper and deeper, and then you discover that is the truth, that is your true being. And then you go one step further, and then you realize that that light of consciousness is the same light within all sentient beings, right? So it's life itself, right? So as manifested physical incarnated beings, we become identified with this body and mind, the collection of aggregates. But then we need to realize that what are we really? And then you can dissect it into life. Life itself is consciousness, right? If there was no consciousness, there would be no experiencing happening. And if there's nothing to experience anything, then you can't say that anything exists at all. So ultimately, that's the path. So a great book to touch on that, very direct. And these are all like pointing out instructions to lead you down the path of self-inquiry is what, Sabina?
I am that, or the Ashtavakra Gita.
Oh, that as well, yeah.
That we studied on this channel.
So lots of different paths, lots of different teachings. So we need to decide for ourselves, where we want to go. And it's all through inspiration, right? So that's why it's not about judging anybody else's path. It's about deciding and going with the flow and realizing, the signs that are gently guiding us on our path, right? And just by elevating ourselves, we create the space for others to do the same. So let us know what path you guys are on, what teachings really resonated with you, what teachers, what masters, what practices, what traditions. Yeah, we love finding out from the space of universal acceptance. Do you have anything to say?
No,
Nothing?
nothing to add here.
Nothing from
Value.
Sabina.
I'm blissed out.
All
And
right.
I'm just grateful for these beautiful teachings once again.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So thank you, Swamiji. Exceptional as always. As we seek to raise ourselves.
And raise the world. Thank you so much, everyone. We love you.
Peace.